This is Alien Isolation. We're on Xbox Series X taking a look at this really fascinating and great horror title from early on in the generation. So you're playing as Amanda Ripley, which is the daughter of, well, Ellen Ripley from Aliens. I guess if you've seen Aliens or you've not seen Aliens, but yeah. So on Xbox Series X, we retain the original version of the game, so that's like a 1080p, 30 FPS. Now we have auto HDR, which obviously looks, quite nice with the lighting system and everything in this game. I think it actually adds a little bit to it. So what this is really just a fascinating horror title that beautifully recreates the atmosphere and style of the Alien series. It really is quite wonderful, and again, very authentic, as you're seeing here. Ah! Yeah, that's right. So not only are you dealing with the aliens, you're also dealing with things such as crazy androids. And yeah, it can be a little terrifying to deal with. It's quite spooky because things will pop up and stuff will come from the ceiling, and you do get a lot of different places to kind of hide and to deal with your particular situation. So we're doing a challenge. So what's different about the challenge is that this really isn't necessarily something that is story related. So we're not spoiling any element of the actual story experience. And I thought that was kind of good because the story actually is really interesting in this one, especially if you are an Aliens fan. You don't have to have seen any of the Aliens content to enjoy what this game has to offer. Oh, it's slipping way up there. That's not good. But at the same time, I think you'll appreciate what they were able to accomplish with this game a little bit more if you are a fan of Aliens, or if you've experienced what Aliens has to offer. Where did that thing go? I am scared. Anyways, it also had a really cool feature. If you had the Kinect integrated to it, obviously that's something we can't do these days, but you could use the Kinect to kind of, it was never helpful, needless to say. Basically, it could pick up sounds, and you could I think you could kind of move your head a little bit, and the game would react to it to a degree. So that was pretty cool Kinect integration. And yeah, normally you don't really have tools. Oh jeez, the flamethrower's out. I didn't notice. Usually, you wouldn't necessarily have all of these tools available to you because you're working through different parts of, the story, right? You've got a tale you're following, you've got certain missions, certain objectives. That's what you're doing while you're on this ship. And it's kind of a real mystery because you're not exactly sure, what's going on. Flamethrower fuel, that would have been helpful. You're just kind of, moving through this ship. It's really mysterious. Obviously, something bad's happened to the ship. People are dead. Things are not going well. And you're basically trying to survive. And I don't remember the alien being so aggressive right off the bat on this one. Jeez. But this also really does show off the fun part of the game, is kind of the quick reaction of having to deal with the alien. Now, usually there's a lot more hiding and back and forth, but that alien will just come and straight up kill you. It does not care. And I also think that's kind of the fun of it too, is having to deal with this creature while you're exploring, this environment. It is really quite fascinating. And again, I did really find this game to be very well done in terms of the atmosphere and the style of game it is. That survival horror was sort of, I think it's still pretty popular, but it was really hitting a height during this particular period of time. And, I think this game kind of hit right at that peaking point. So I think that helped it. I hope a lot of people did check this out. And if you haven't seen this game before, I hope that maybe you're kind of like, oh, this looks cool, because it is. Oh, jeez. And yeah, it could be terrifying depending on, like, well, I think in general it could be kind of terrifying. Sometimes the aliens just kind of come out of nowhere. At the same time, you might find it a little tiring to deal with, because you could keep getting killed, you know, by the alien as you're going about trying to survive. I mean, obviously I'm not playing very well, but at the same time it's good to showcase these kind of frantic moments, because I think it's a little bit more exciting at the same time, because you'll be like someone that's never seen this before. You'll be like, whoa, look at this crazy thing you're fighting against. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of nuts, but yeah, you're supposed to be sort of smart. You're supposed to hide, but at the same time you're supposed to realize that doing that stuff doesn't necessarily help you against this thing. Oh, jeez. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, no, 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 no. And it's just like it'll get you, like you've been saying. And then obviously the load time's much quicker to get into things. But I don't think it was really too bad beforehand to load, anyways. If you did notice, I do have an objective. Like, I'm trying to actually escape this area. I'm doing a very poor job of it, as you can tell. And yeah, that's kind of the neat thing about this game, right? Is that sense of, like, terror as you deal with a creature that is obviously not playing around. It's out to hunt. There are situations where you're interacting with other people. I think those are fun too, and definitely something a little bit different. And yeah, I could really feel, like, you could feel it in the controller too, which is kind of exciting. So if you're not familiar with, like, I guess Alien in general, obviously there's the Alien, right? It's got some neat iconic characters. You know, they kind of play around with the narrative a little bit more. But what's really cool about it is this sort of, like, futuristic vibe that's going on in the game. Like, it's not, or in the universe. So it's got, like, this retro style, I don't know how you could tell, like, screens and everything like that. It feels like the 80s, well, you know, from that era, but basically what they thought the future was like. So they never really updated things. They just kind of kept going on with that vibe of, like, an old style sort of, you know, environment that you're kind of stuck in, just in terms of, like, the screens you have, the technology you have. It's really quite fascinating. I did really like that part of it and find it kind of intriguing. Collect 2 cards, delete the system data, lock down the stairwell. I don't know, I'm mostly just trying not to die from the creepy alien. But that's like that's what's kind of neat about it, is the atmosphere, the attention to detail, the way you kind of fight the creature. I think it's really fascinating. Like, again, I'm supposed to be playing this from more of a defensive standpoint. You're not supposed to be on the attack, because that's what's going to get you absolutely killed out here, because the alien is, you know, really tough, and I feel very like it's almost invulnerable to a degree as well, just in terms of what it can do. I also remember having this really cool content where you can kind of explore the first game, if that makes sense. Well, not explore the first game, explore aspects of the first movie, because they did like a throwback type of DLC thing that I think was like a pre-order for this one. And to me, that was really quite interesting to sort of experience, because you can, like, kind of remember it from the, oh geez, you can remember it if you've seen the films. And I think that's kind of fun too, is, you know, kind of having that sort of flashback thing. So if you can grab that crew, I can't remember, maybe it was called The Crew or something like that, but it was this DLC segment that I thought was really fascinating, even outside the scope of the game. So first off, you know, if you are, like, interested in this, be sure to take a look at that DLC thing too, because I think you will honestly find it really fascinating, really cool, this, like, you know, to kind of, like, witness if you are like a big Aliens fan, right? And that's mostly what I'm trying to showcase, is that, you know, outside of the scope of the regular narrative, which I think is pretty good. And I was always surprised that we didn't get a follow-up to this one, is that I think, kind of jumping into that DLC, you're going to really like it if you're a fan of the Aliens franchise. So that's just kind of an extra little thing, because you might have known of the game here, but you might not have known of that particular element of it. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And yeah, that's just sort of the neat part of it, because this alien obviously, jeez, this alien is obviously got a lot more free reign of the ship than I do when I'm moving around, because this is again being way too aggressive in this. Like you're supposed to play it smart, and they can like the vents, they'll come down through the vents and stuff. Oh, I didn't reload. I did not reload. But anyways, that's Alien Isolation. I hope it gave you an idea of what it's like and the gist of the game. It's really quite fun and entertaining, and I played it a little bit differently than you might if you're just like actually trying to play it. But I'm trying to have fun and kind of give you an idea a little bit of what it's about and what it's like to play.